Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something pretty important for businesses, especially now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we're looking at the potential TikTok ban in the U.S.
Right?
We've got some excerpts from an AP News article about it,
Wow.
covering the Supreme Court hearing. And more importantly, I think, some reactions from businesses that really rely on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal for them, so
Huge. Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how this all shakes out.
It is a fascinating situation, right? Because,
Yeah.
we're not just talking about people losing a place to watch funny videos or whatever. We're talking about actual businesses potentially losing, their connection to customers.
Oh, for sure.
It's a lifeline for some of them.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
I mean, the Supreme Court could make a decision to uphold this law banning TikTok as early as January 19th.
That's right around the corner.
Unless its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, sells it off.
Yeah, they've got a tough choice to make.
So I guess that kind of raises the question, what makes TikTok so special to these businesses?
Yeah, why is it so hard to replicate?
Right.
Well, I mean, if you look at the law that's in front of the Supreme Court, it all comes down to national security, right?
Yep. Okay.
The U.S. government's arguing that TikTok gathers all this user data that the Chinese government could get their hands on.
Yeah, and they're talking about espionage, blackmail,
Yeah, it's serious stuff.
pretty serious stuff.
But TikTok claims they have safeguards in place.
Right.
Right. They're saying
To protect the data.
no evidence of data misuse.
But, I mean, still, it's kind of unsettling.
It is.
So the article highlights a few businesses that are really feeling the pressure here.
Yeah.
Like Chloe's Giant Cookies.
Oh, I read about them.
Yeah, the owner, Chloe Joy Sexton. She built her entire business on TikTok.
Wow.
After losing her job.
So it's literally her livelihood.
Yeah, and she says no other platform comes even close.
It's amazing how powerful that is, This potential ban, it's not just about the app itself. It's affecting all these people and businesses.
It's a whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just, food businesses, The article also talks about KFX Body.
KFX Body.
Yeah, they make natural deodorant.
Interesting.
And get this, the co-owner, Skip Chapman, says 80 to 90% of their sales.
80 to 90? That's almost all of it.
Come from TikTok.
That's wild.
It is.
So he must be...
He's got to be stressed.
Freaking out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What is it about TikTok that makes it such a game changer for these businesses? I mean, is it the algorithm? Is it the kind of content they're making? Or is it the audience?
Right. What's the secret sauce?
Yeah.
Because the article says that he's tried, diversifying, going to Amazon, other places, but...
It's just not the same.
Nothing's worked as well as TikTok.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
And then there's another example, Felicia Jeffson.
Okay.
She owns CPR Wrap.
CPR Wrap.
And she says TikTok almost tripled her sales.
Wow, tripled.
Yeah, thanks to its diverse user base.
Oh.
She calls it a game changer, too.
Wow.
Allowed her to connect with customers in a way.
So it's like...
she never could before.
It's the connection.
It seems like it.
It makes TikTok so powerful.
Yeah, TikTok has this way of connecting businesses with the right people.
Yeah, that other platforms haven't figured out yet.
Exactly. And if that connection disappears because of a ban, it could be devastating, especially for smaller businesses.
Right, because they may not have the resources to start over.
Exactly. It's a huge risk.
So what are these businesses supposed to do? How do they prepare for a potential ban?
Well, some are trying to diversify.
Okay.
Build followings on other platforms.
Like Instagram, YouTube, that kind of thing.
Exactly, but it sounds like...
it's not quite the same.
Yeah, it seems like they're missing that special something that TikTok has.
They haven't quite captured the magic.
This whole situation is fascinating.
It is, yeah.
But it's also pretty nerve-wracking.
It really highlights just how much we rely on these platforms, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And how vulnerable we are.
Okay, so we've seen how much is at stake for businesses if TikTok gets banned. But what about the legal arguments themselves?
Right.
What are the chances this ban will actually happen? I think we should dig into that side of things a bit more.
Yeah. Let's unpack those arguments. See if we can figure out what the future holds for TikTok.
Seems good to me.
And for all those businesses that depend on it.
Yeah, let's do it.
This whole TikTok situation, it's actually about way more than just businesses, right?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, we're talking about this potential ban, But it really highlights this, like, bigger issue.
Okay.
The tension between national security.
Right. And individual liberties.
Especially in this digital age.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, how much control should the government have over our online lives? It's a tough question.
It is. And with TikTok, it's all playing out, like, right in front of us.
Very publicly.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
The government's main concern is data security.
Like we talked about before.
Right. They're saying TikTok's parent company, being Chinese, means the Chinese government could, like, force them to hand over user data.
Yeah. And that's unsettling.
It is, but
that TikTok keeps saying that that's never going to happen.
Right. They say they have safeguards
to protect the data.
Yeah, and that there's no evidence
of any wrongdoing.
Exactly.
But, you know, it's like, even if they're telling the truth, there's still that doubt.
The potential is there.
Right. It just makes you think, is a ban really the answer?
It's a good question.
Like, won't people just find other ways
to
use TikTok if they really want to?
Exactly. The article actually mentions that some experts think that if there's a ban, people will just use VPNs.
Oh, so they'll just bypass it.
Or find other ways to get around it.
It's like, you can't really stop people.
It's hard to control the internet.
If they really want to do something.
And it might even be riskier.
Yeah, because if people are using these workarounds, it's harder to monitor.
You lose that oversight.
It could make things worse.
Exactly.
Talk about unintended consequences.
Right. It's a really complex issue.
Definitely not a simple solution.
And for businesses, even if TikTok survives this whole thing, just the uncertainty is enough to make anyone nervous.
Especially those businesses that really depend on TikTok.
Like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, like Chloe's Giant Cookies, KAFX Body, CPR Wrap.
All of them.
What are they supposed to do? Just wait and see what happens.
It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
But it really shows how important it is to diversify.
We touched on that before.
Right. But it's not just about, like, being on a bunch of platforms. It's about really understanding each one.
Okay, I see what you mean. So, like
what works on TikTok might not work on Instagram.
You can't just copy and paste your strategy from one platform to another.
You need to tailor your approach.
Okay.
So, for example, Instagram's great for visuals, branding, connecting with influencers.
Makes sense.
YouTube's better for, like, longer videos, building a subscriber base.
Right, more in-depth content.
But neither one's really nailed that short-form viral thing.
That TikTok's so good at.
Exactly.
So what about the businesses that, like, have found their niche on TikTok? What do they do?
It's a real challenge. And it shows that businesses need to be adaptable. Innovative, you know?
So, like, always be ready to pivot.
Exactly. Because this situation, it might actually lead to, like, new platforms emerging.
Oh, that's interesting.
Think about it. What if something comes along that's even better than TikTok?
What if it has better privacy, more support for businesses, like a fairer algorithm?
That's right.
That's pretty exciting to think about.
It's like the Wild West of social media all over again.
A whole new frontier.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, for new platforms.
To come in and shake things up.
I'm actually feeling a lot more optimistic about this now.
Me too. It's like...
It's not just doom and gloom.
One door closing, another one opening.
Exactly.
And this whole thing is forcing us to be more creative.
To think outside the box.
Yeah.
To imagine new possibilities.
And that's a good thing.
Definitely.
It adds a whole new layer to our deep dive.
Totally. We started by looking at the problems, and now we're talking about potential solutions.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of exploring these complex issues.
Exactly. There's always more to learn.
Always something new to uncover.
And discuss.
So let's keep going.
Sounds good to me.
Let's talk about some of those alternative platforms.
Yeah.
That are already out there.
Let's see if they have what it takes.
To fill TikTok's shoes. So we've talked about all this potential for new platforms, but we can't forget about the ones that are already out there.
Right, like the big guys.
Yeah, the ones who are probably eyeing TikTok pretty closely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're probably watching this whole thing unfold. Like,
rubbing their hands together.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is their chance.
So top of the list, you got to mention Instagram Reels.
Oh, yeah. Reels, they've been pushing hard.
Yeah, they're really trying to make it happen.
I mean, they've even, like, changed their algorithm.
The favor Reels.
Yeah, my feed is, like, all Reels now.
It's crazy.
It's like they're trying to become TikTok.
Well, they do have a huge user base already.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a big advantage.
So do you think they can pull it off? Like, can they really capture that?
That's the question, right?
That TikTok magic.
can they get the same level of creativity, engagement, all that?
The virality, all of it.
It's hard to say.
I've tried Reels, and honestly, it's just not the same.
It's missing something.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to force it.
It's like fitting a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
And then there's Snapchat.
Oh, yeah, Snapchat's trying to get in on this too, right?
Yeah, with Spotlight. Their version of, like...
the short-form viral video.
Yeah, but it hasn't really taken off the same way.
No, not really.
I don't think it has the same appeal.
So do you think either of them, like Instagram or Snapchat, really has a chance?
To replace TikTok?
Yeah.
I mean, they both have their strengths, but they also have, like, limitations. Instagram's very, like...
niche-focused.
Yeah, all about aesthetics.
Yeah.
Snapchat's more about private messaging, disappearing content.
Right, so they're kind of coming at it from different angles.
Yeah, and neither one seems to really get what makes TikTok tick.
What about YouTube Shorts?
Oh, yeah, good point.
They're already huge with video.
They've got the short form format down.
Yeah. So
YouTube's always been about longer videos.
Yeah, more like in-depth stuff.
It'll be interesting to see if they can make that transition.
To that quick, viral kind of content.
Yeah, and really compete with TikTok.
It seems like all these platforms are kind of just trying to copy TikTok.
Yeah, they're playing catch up.
But maybe that's not the right approach.
Right. Maybe the real opportunity
is to do something completely different.
To create something new.
Yeah, like build on TikTok's strengths, but also
address its weaknesses.
Like, what if there was a platform that really cared about user privacy?
Yeah, and gave creators more control.
Better ways to make money.
And was more inclusive.
It would be amazing.
It would be a game changer.
And maybe even less vulnerable to these kinds of, like...
geopolitical pressures.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's happening with TikTok.
A platform that can just focus on connecting people.
And being creative.
That's the dream.
I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah.
Like the future of online video, it's still up in the air.
It's a wide open field.
Whether TikTok makes it or not.
Things are changing.
Yeah. And there's so many possibilities.
That's an exciting time.
So for everyone out there, stay informed, be adaptable, and...
be open to new things.
Yeah, this isn't the end to anything.
That's just the beginning.
It's been awesome talking about all this with you.
Yeah, this was a great deep dive.
Definitely learned a lot.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
And keep exploring.
We'll see you next time.